All right. This week it's gonna be Super Auto Pets, and I will be joined by the developer, or well, one of the developers of this game shortly. We'll have the opportunity to talk to this developer for about an hour, and it's one of the main gameplay designers for the game. I will introduce Super Auto Pets a little bit. I've been playing it for a couple of hours, so I'm no expert, but I have an idea what it's all about. And I see that the developer is ready, so I'll actually let me just start a Discord call to the developer. And it is calling. There we go. I think. Hello? Hi. Yeah, I hear you. So I already pressed live, and you are also live on Twitch and YouTube.
Alright, cool.
Good morning. Let me just tune the volume level a little bit. I think like so maybe. Good morning.
Morning.
I'm super excited for Super Auto Pets. I know the game a little bit. I played it a couple of hours. I had a lot of fun with it, and I think it's gonna be really nice to talk with you about it. You are you the main gameplay designer? Is that really? Would that be true?
I think it's fair to say at this point. Like, the game was conceived by me and Lau and the other guy on the Discord. He's mostly taken over the technical task, and I have mainly been doing the game design.
All right. I'll just introduce the channel. What I do is I stream a different game each week, a game made in Denmark, and I try to get the developers on the stream to talk about their game. So we'll go through it, and you have about an hour. I think, and I don't know if I should call you by your Discord name, Akuni, or by your real name. You get to decide.
I mean, my online handle is almost my real name, so let's just go with that.
Okay, so we'll say Akuni then. Yes. Okay, Super Auto Pets is a oh well, I have a continued game. Can I discard that one? Let's see, I think up here if I say abandoned game. Yeah, because then we're pretty much from scratch.
Sorry, can you share your screen?
Oh yeah, I usually do share it on Discord. So we go like this.
Perfect.
Then you have a more real-time view, because Twitch is always like just 3 seconds behind or so.
Fair enough.
And we get a hi, hello from Ryan Shadow Golden. Hello, that's one of your Discord members. And I gotta say, this game is on the top 3 in terms of having the biggest Discord following of the games I've been showing. It seems like you have a very active Discord.
Yeah, I'm mostly active in the test channels because we want to, when we want to change the game, we upload it to a private test server and we gather feedback from usually the most dedicated players. It's open for everyone, but it's usually the most hardcore who pitch in, and so I read everything they say, all right, in the feedback, but not as much in the other channels.
All right. I think let's start out by just introducing the game, and then I also received a bunch of questions beforehand from someone I think who couldn't join the stream, but was quite eager to ask some questions because they're also making a game similar to this, and I think they have a lot of like interesting questions about game design.
Cool.
But of course, if you're watching, you're also very welcome to ask questions. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to interject. We have gotten quite a lot of emails from people who wanted the feedback from games that are very similar or inspired by Super 8-bit, and I'm always happy to pitch in. But I think it's also hard because you, as a designer, have some ideas about what your game should be, and anyone else will have their own visions as well. So I always feel like I don't want to destroy people's ideas by coming with my, biases and whatnot. But otherwise, I'm still happy to give my, 5 cents worth of ideas.
Yeah, I think there are as many opinions as there are players.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll start the game here and I'll just introduce it a little bit. So you start the game like this, and you get 3 pets or animals that you can buy. They cost 3 coins each. You start with 10 coins. So I buy them by dragging them up here to my team. For this first turn, I'll just be buying each one of them. But you can see that they have different stat values. For example, well, now the duck changed, but it had 2 attack and 2 health. And the reason why it changed is because the horse has something called friend summoned. So that's kind of an effect that will happen every time you summon a friend. And buying the duck kind of summoned the duck. And so the duck got an extra 1 attack until next turn. And so if you look at the mosquito, it will have something at the start of battle. It will deal 1 damage to 1 random enemy. So the game is about assembling this team of different animals and then kind of trying to make nice synergies by collecting pets that buff each other. You have this kind of shop turn, and when you press end turn, you get into a battle. And the game is called a... Oh yeah, we need to choose a name. Let's see here. We could be the Untouched, Cozy, or Offensive Monks, Others, or Pianists. Let's be the Offensive Pianists. I have a couple of questions about that later, but for now, so you get into a match here, and the team that you're against is a team that somebody else created previously. You can play it here as an autoplay. Then all the pets will kind of show their attack, but I'll just play it one by one just to introduce. So first up, mosquito, start of battle, deal 1 damage to 1 random enemy. And if we click play, that's how it looks. Now the first 2 pets in line, they get ready to attack each other. The ant has 2 damage, the mosquito has 2 health, so the mosquito will die from this. But also the mosquito has enough damage to kill the ant. And if you press play again, both of them are now fainting. Now the ant has one of those effects. When it faints, it gives 1 random enemy 1 health and 1 attack. So you'll see the fish getting that like there. So now it's a 3-4. And if you press play again, the horse will die. And now we'll end up with a draw because each of them has enough attack to match the other one's health. And that's kind of a round in the game. Then you get a draw, we lose no health, but we also gain no trophies. We go back to the shop, and we get to buy new pets. And I don't wanna introduce anything more. I think we should just kind of start playing it a little bit and start talking about whatever comes up. Do you have anything you want to say at this point to just kind of introduce the idea, or anything I missed?
I have a million thoughts, but I think they're probably all more advanced than they need to be. So I think it's fine. You play and we'll just take it as it comes.
Okay. So I'm by no means like an expert player, but I did start seeing some kind of patterns in this. So you have, for example, here the duck. If you sell that one, it will give shop pets +1 health. So the duck is a kind of nice starter. Now I sell it. All these pets are now at a +1. And that will be a permanent effect.
No?
No?
I mean, yes, that is correct. But I know there's probably a lot of long-term supports pitch players out there who know that the objectively right thing to do with the duck is that you get free ducks on your team, and then you wait until turn 3 where you unlock the tier 2 pets, and then you sell you level the duck up to level 2, so you get like the level 3 pets, and then you sell it, so you have like a ton of pets with much more health, and one of them being from tier 3. Like,
Okay.
that's a classic opener.
I mean, I can see why that would make sense. So maybe we'll see that in a moment as well. Because something I didn't introduce is that, yeah, if you get two of the same, you can drag them on top of each other and they will level up. We have this roll button here. It costs 1 gold. If I press it, we get new pets down here. Maybe I'll try and... So we'll not do a very perfect run right now, I think, but I'll just try showing things off. So now we bought an ant, and there's another ant here. I can't afford it yet, but I could afford it next round, so I can freeze it, and then I have it available next round. If I press end turn, it asks me if I want to end my turn with excess gold. I don't want to do that. I could spend my 1 gold to roll again and see if I was lucky to get any of the pets I already had. So if I got another ant, for example, I could freeze that for the next turn. Since I'm out of gold, let's just start the next turn. So we're still... Yeah?
Alright. You never want to end your turn with any excess gold. Like, there's never any advantage to doing that. There used to be a pet that would get buffed if you ended your turn with gold, but we removed it because, I mean, the fun of the game is spending your gold, buying pets, rolling, and having a pet that benefited from not doing the things that are fun just felt like bad game design.
Yeah, I can see why you end up making such a pet, because yeah, sometimes you have excess gold, and why not make a pet that can benefit from that? But it's so true. You end up actually counter designing. So yeah, having something fun that takes away another fun.
As a game designer, I think you want to explore all the boundaries of your game. You want to see like how much interesting gameplay can you squeeze out of the rules that you currently have. And sometimes it just results in what you call anti-design. But sometimes it gets through because you're so excited as a designer that, oh, you found like some sort of new gameplay and you didn't even have to work that hard for it. And you get so caught up in the idea that you forget to really check yourself. Does this even fit the game?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard a talk recently from one of the developers from Hoodly Hood behind the game Void Crew, where they kind of ended up defining pillars for their game. Like, what is our game? And they defined 3 pillars. One of them was it's essentially a multiplayer game, and so they wanted to focus on that, for example. And then whenever they were doing kind of a design meeting and coming up with ideas, they got really excited about a bunch of stuff, but then they always kind of rolled it back and said, okay, but which one of these actually kind of enforce these pillars or strengthen what the game is really about?
Yeah, we do that as well. But I think the design philosophy of Super Auto Pets for the first pack, I think it got sort of watered down as we proceeded because we felt the need to expand the design space by adding new mechanics. And initially we didn't want any tribal synergies. Like, we didn't want, if you ever played Hearthstone Battlegrounds, we didn't want like Murlocs that only work with other Murlocs. We didn't want like a pig tribe where the pigs can only buff each other. We wanted everything to work with everything else. But then came toys, came mana, came trumpets, and we sort of fell into old design patterns. I think the game is better when everything works with everything else, and the challenge is for you as the player to figure out like what goes well with something else.
Yeah, I really like that, because that's very true in Hearthstone. For example, you see like a Murloc, and whereas, for example, this Feint, it's not super obvious that if it says faint, you must have other fainters. But there's actually... Well, yeah, I did start seeing some patterns, but they're not like strictly presented to me. That's really nice. Ryan Shadow Golden is also saying one important thing is the order of the pets, for example, the ant. So I was a bit quick here. I just kind of pulled in the pets and started the turn, but you'll see that the ant is the last on our line, so it will probably be the last one to faint. And its effect is when it faints, it buffs another friend, but at that time there won't be any friends left. So that should maybe go in the front. Let's do another battle. I'll take this one step by step as well, but maybe then we'll switch to the autoplay afterwards. So the mosquito will start damaging one random enemy. There are no other kind of start of battle. You'll see the cricket doing 3 damage to the other, which has 5 health, so it won't die. Likewise, 2 damage is not enough to remove 3 health from the cricket. So they'll both survive, then they'll just go another round and they'll just keep bashing each other up. Then the cricket had a feint, so it summons a cricket. So now there's a 1-1 cricket, they go. And they continue against the dove. Mosquito on swan. And I think we'll end up winning this one because now the fish only has 1 health left. And that's it. We get a victory, and so we get a trophy, and I think kind of that's the objective of the game, is to get 10 trophies without losing all your 5 health. Hello, Freets. I suppose you're also one of the Super Auto Pet Discorders. Now you see here, we've reached turn 3, so we unlock those next tier of pets, and there are, I think, 6 tiers of pets represented by these dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the longer we'll go, the more powerful pets we'll have. Okay, let's hear it from the game designer. What should our strategy be at this point then?
Win, always.
What,
Whatever you
always?
do not lose. Buy all the strongest pets.
Oh, all the strongest pets always. So I haven't actually been doing that when I've been playing. So like, for example, here I could have gotten the idea to buy the horse to kind of level up the horse. Oh, we didn't show that. If you drag it on top, oh, it's no good.
It's no good. You have nothing that goes well with the horse currently. So
yeah.
I would, I think at this point I would ditch the, I think as a player, but also as a designer, I want to get rid of all the low tier pets unless I have invested like a ton already in them. So currently I see the horse and mosquito as sort of the weak pick. It's all bad, but we need to slowly recycle them out. Peacock is good.
All right. So when we sell them, we also get a coin. So it's not all bad to get rid of them.
I think like it is very tempting to keep the ant and upgrade, but the thing is you get so much more value for your money if you invest in current tier pets. And I know this has been a problem in the game for a long time for non-gamers. Like if you're really old, like really into Super Auto Pets, you might remember that I streamed this game with my mom a few weeks or months after it became really big off the back of Northernlion. And my mom, she loves Super Auto Pets, but she gets so invested in each individual pet, like because of how they look, rather than what's strong or what's good. She very often ends up losing. So
okay.
We'll try not to get too invested into the cute art and just go by raw, sweaty numbers. And get a good win.
Yes. Well, if we can salvage it, because already we spent 1 turn and maybe we didn't buy the right pets. We spent 1 turn just getting a draw. And I think you also want to reach 10 trophies at a kind of low turn number. Like, do it as fast as you can, I suppose.
Yeah. But I think we're playing on easy mode. Sorry, not easy mode. We're playing on normal mode.
Yes.
Not easy mode. Normal. Very different.
Okay.
I think.
Should we roll at this point then?
Yeah, let's get some tier 2s. Let's get some. Oh, delicious swan.
Okay, is that worth it then? Because I've been looking at the swan and I'm kind of thinking, well, it doesn't really do that much. We get 1 gold each turn, but is that really?
One goal is really good for several reasons. Because goal, like the value of goal never declines. Like when you're on turn 12 or turn 3, like 1 goal is still worth the same amount because everything costs 3 gold. So if you can keep that swan around, it scales well into the late game.
Okay, interesting.
But which is why it's so weak, because it is like super good in the late game. So you need to sort of balance it out by making it kind of horrible in the start. But the peacock is sort of the opposite. It's really bad in the late game, but super strong in the early game.
Yeah, I've tried the peacock a couple of times, and I don't know. I always so I think I'm one of the players who get a little bit invested in my in my pets, and I always get a little bit mad about the peacock by the end because I've invested so much in it, and it doesn't seem to be worth it.
It's not, but I think that's the beauty of the game, is trying to figure out when to ditch pets. But as I said, there's also a inherent design flaw in that people can get attached to the animals. Oh yes.
Okay, so what I
Good.
just did was I rolled new ones, and we got a peacock. So I think at this point we would then buy the peacock and level it up. So
Yes.
what happens there is that it gets 1 more attack and wait, yeah, I think it got 1 more attack and 1 more health. And you can see it's halfway to level 2. So if we get 1 more peacock, then it would be level 2, and that would change the effect underneath, like this hurt, gain 3 attack.
Yes. All right. Then we have some ordering. Our team order really matters, and I'll let you commandeer this one.
Okay, so I suppose we want the ant to be kind of close up front, because then when it faints, it gives more health to everyone on the team.
Just
at a
one.
later point, we'll see that you can also kill pets further back, but it's most likely that the front pet will be the first one to fall.
Correction. It only
oh.
gives one. It only gives one friend +1/+1.
Oh yeah, okay. There's another pet that gives it to the whole team. I think maybe that's the mammoth.
Okay.
So I think then what we would maybe want to do is get more health to our peacock, because whenever the peacock takes damage, it increases its attack. So the more health it has, the more times it gets to kind of do that hurt effect.
Love it.
And then let's see here. We have the other has an effect when you buy it, and the pig has one when you sell it, and the swan has at start of turn. And start of turn is really when we get into this shop phase. So they don't really have anything. So I would end it here.
I mean, you can, if you really want to super sweat, you can put the peacock on the far left and the ant in front of it, and that way you ensure where the buff will go. Unless you get really unlucky and the other team somehow snipes the peacock. They can't, or this pack can't, at least. But
yeah, because I saw at a later point there'll be a pet who can kind of target the last pet in line. I don't think we'll encounter that here on turn 3.
that would be amazing. That would be very innovative if we countered crocodile so early.
Why do you say that we won't necessarily ensure this mechanic when we put them up here? Why is it better to put them down here at the back?
If you put them in the front, the ant will target a random friend. It will give its buff to a random friend, so it can hit anyone. But
oh yeah, okay, yes.
If
I
you
thought
put-
it was the one behind, but yeah, you're right. Well, of course you're right. You know the game. I've only been playing it for a couple of hours. I thought it was really fun, but I'm not so deep into it yet.
But I don't know if it's that necessary, because if the peacock survives one hit, it will basically be able to kill anything. because there are so few things that has more than 6 health at this point.
I'll end the turn and then I'll click through the battle just a little bit slowly while we take a question from Tim. What was the initial design idea for this type of fights? For example, the order of fighters, special powers, economy management, etc.
Oh, that's going to be a long answer, but alright, here goes. So originally, this was actually a game where you were building a spaceship. It was based off a board game called Galaxy Trucker. So instead of putting pits on a 1D line or one-dimensional line, you were building like a spaceship out of parts in a 2D grid. And we kept having issues communicating to the player, like which order do these spaceship parts activate. It was sort of similar to this, where each part had different abilities. And we kept being unsatisfied with the complexity. So we scaled it down into one line, which is now Suborto Pits. And that was basically it. Like we solved all the design problems, and then the rest sort of just came naturally. Like in this space game, they will sort of activate from the top right, and then go down each column. I know it might be hard to visualize, which was the entire point, that it was just too complicated. So we reduced it down to this one-dimensional line of 5 pits, and then it just became activate from, well, not from right to left. We changed it so it became from highest attack to lowest attack. So it wasn't like one initial idea. It was sort of like an idea that mutated over 2 different games.
It sounds like a very different starting point with spaceships.
It was. I mean, I'm sure you could, like, I still have some old GIFs, and I'm sure you can sort of see the inception of this game in it. But I mean, thematically, it became something entirely different.
So you're not the artist on the game, right? Was it you that kind of decided this theme, or did someone else come into the team and say, well, let's pull it in another direction?
As happens with probably so many games, a lot of it was left up to chance. So initially, the space game, it was pixel art, which I like to draw pixel art, mostly for fun. It didn't look great, but I like doing it regardless. But then we changed it to this like one-dimensional grid, and it no longer made sense to be about spaceships. And I think I just stumbled over a website that had like emojis. It was like an emoji library, because all the or most of the emojis that you have on your phone, like your Android, your iPhone, and whatever other systems, like even browsers and operating systems, all of the emojis are sort of open sourced, or a lot of them are. And there was this website that had them all collected, and I thought, I'll just use these animal emojis as placeholders, and then they became more than just placeholders. We released the first version using the Twimoji library and the Google Notus library, which a lot of people recognize as the emojis from your phone, at least the old ones, I think. So
that seems like such a random, in a sense. Like, of course, like in the beginning, you choose what you have at hand, you choose what you can, and sometimes you take an easy choice, and it sounds perfectly reasonable to then grab like these emojis. But yeah, well, it turned out very nice.
We used to be very scrappy, and I guess we still are. And I don't know, that it was available, and the animal art was really cute, like, and it was free and it was legal, like, and I hadn't really seen it anywhere. So except for of course, if you're a big Discorder, you might be familiar with Carlbot, which is like a Discord bot that uses
I've seen that one around.
Yeah, it uses the old Google Noto turtle emoji. We used the newer one, which made it look slightly different. But then eventually we we had enough success that we could contract someone to replace all the emoji art with our own. So everything you see right now is in-house produced. And fun fact about the background as well. The background was initially an asset we bought from the Unity Asset Store. And I don't really remember why I picked it. I thought it had these lanes where it felt natural. But this is basically the explanation why the shop doesn't look like a shop at all. Like, you see that sign that says shop at the bottom? That's the only indicator that this is really a shop, right? I mean, nothing else points or makes the bottom lane look like a shop. I would describe it as really bad design, but I think that sign pulls a lot of weight. Like, that sign alone does a lot to communicate to the player you're buying these things at the bottom, because otherwise there's very little to differentiate the top lane from the bottom lane.
That's a very interesting point. I mean, I got it, so it must work, but well, of course we didn't also see, like, when you start up the game you get a little bit of a tutorial, right? So you're shown, well, this is the shop, and then if you click here you buy a pet. So there is a little bit of hand holding in that sense, but yeah, it's true. It's not like we're inside a pet store or anything.
I think
I'll drag in the next pet, finish this round so we can continue. But so for example, the swan here, right? It's a very weak pet in its terms of its stats alone. But I suppose if we could get 2 of them, then we could level up the swan, and then the effect increases. Would you do that?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
Gold.
Let's follow the designer.
I'm not the best, by the way. Like, I'm still learning things from the people who play this game a lot more than I do.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, that's nice.
Wait,
Also
maybe
pill.
not freeze the flamingo, because I see up here when we get to the next turn number, we actually get improved pets again. So maybe we want to keep these slots free.
Pill. Delicious
What?
pill. The sleeping pill in the shop.
Pill?
Yeah, very good.
I haven't used that one yet at all. Well, I guess, like, so instead of selling a pet, like instead of selling this one for 1 gold, we could make it faint, and then we get this effect.
Yes.
Right. Yes, okay, we'll freeze the pill because we don't have any more money, and I don't want to sell them. I want to go into battle with 5 pets. We have a couple of questions we need to catch up on as well. But let's focus a little bit on the battle, so we also have a sense of what kind of team we are assembling here. Now you'll see one of these pets that can deal damage to someone a little bit at random. It will deal 4 damage to the lowest health enemy. So in our team that's either the ant or the flamingo. And you see now the ant is fainting, giving 1 random friend bonuses, and we kind of placed it here because we wanted it to give to the peacock. But because there's this damage at sort of a random pet in our line, then it messes it up. The swan gets improved for this turn only, like this battle only. Everything that happens inside the battle stays inside the battle, and everything that happens inside the shop is permanent. Well, our worm will definitely be destroyed here. I think we could end up losing this one. The duck is gonna beat our flamingo. The flamingo will then give a bonus to the 2 nearest friends behind, but because we don't have the ant any longer, of course we only get it on the peacock. And now the peacock has to carry the rest of the game. Will it be able to do so? No. So then we get a defeat, we lose 1 of our hearts, and we go back to the shop. But we reach turn 5 and tier 3 pets are unlocked. And we see a couple of them here. And also the shop items, we get more items in the shop. Okay, I think I'll just try and assemble a little bit of a team while you can get the next question. So Ryan was also asking, do you have plans to add new mechanics like trumpets and mana to the game? Or will the next pets follow the same design as the endangered pack, recycling basic elements? I don't know if I can return to the menu. I think I can, because then we can see in here it says new expansion pack. And what we're playing right now is the turtle pack. It's kind of like the standard pack. Then there's a weekly pack you can choose. Then there's a bunch of different packs over here you can buy. Of course, this is a free-to-play game, so we can also talk a little bit about that at a later point. You can buy stuff inside the game, but you can play it totally for free. And for customization in here, so I've been playing for a bit, which means I've unlocked, for example, another background, Wild West Town. But you could also buy some, so you can unlock these by playing or buying. And the same with, I think we can put on some hats. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I have a cowboy hat, which fits perfectly.
Lucky.
Okay, I'll return, and you can. Are you able to see the chat yourself? Do you have it on Twitch?
I do not have it.
Okay. I'll read it again. Do you have plans to add new mechanics like trumpets and mana? Or will the next pets follow the same design as the endangered pack, recycling basic elements?
So currently we're not really focusing on creating new, what we call standard packs, like a full pack of pets you can play, like on their own. I think, what we have, is it 6 packs now? Turtle, puppy, golden, danger, unicorn. Yeah, we have 6 standard packs, and I think that's plenty to carry us for a very long time. So what I want to do is more like create pets that are interesting to play in weekly or in custom. But I can still answer your question. If will we add new mechanics? And I don't think so. I think we already have enough for a lifetime. If you go back in time, I'm not sure if adding mana was a good idea. It complicated the game a little more, but I don't know how much it added. And not to say that it will ever be removed, but I don't really feel that urge to add more mechanics to the game. I think what it has is already enough.
So I saw mana once, but I think I was playing the weekly pack. So right now I'm playing like the standard pack, and there's not mana in here, there's just the food. And there's a bunch of food we still haven't seen yet. There's some food that will end up giving like permanent effects as well.
Yeah, I mean the turtle pack has no extra mechanics. It doesn't have ailments, it doesn't have toys, it doesn't have mana, trumpets, or jump attacks. Like, this is very much this was the starter point, and also the intended pack for new players to play. Like, it has the bare essentials, which is the point. This is the learning pack.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that leads you into the next question from Tim. What design element have you been most unsure how to balance or implement?
Oh, Tim, I will say everything, always, forever. Like, even right now, I am struggling to understand why is Turtle Pack unfavored in Versus, and why is Danger Pack favored? Like, questions like that keeps me awake at night. And I mean, I can see the numbers, I can see they are unfavored, but I don't have a clear understanding of why. And if you ask out in Discord, people will have different opinions based on their biases. So, like, it still surprises me how adding or removing one attack from the base stats of a pet can drastically change how viable it is to play. Stuff like that.
I think I wanna...
So,
yeah, please continue if you have more to say.
I have a rough conversion table in my mind, like what is 1 mana worth, but it always depends on context, like what other pets are available and at what tiers. So it's the challenge is just trying to understand like everything, basically, in order to like balance the game out in a way that's satisfying to me. Anyway, it'll never be perfect, probably, but
So-
I do have a desire to try to make it as close as possible.
I want to pull in a question from Reddit here, because you're talking about this balancing and how you would do it, and it sounds like you have a kind of overview of the game in your mind, but the question here is, from a game design point of view, how do you balance? Are you mainly stat driven or user feedback driven? And how do you combine those two potentially differing opinions? So if you gather a lot of data from the game and from the players, and you actually do that, right? Because we have these teams. This team that I'm playing against now is somebody else who previously played it. So there must be some data available as to which pets are being chosen the most, and all that. And you say sometimes it surprises you what a change will do to the game. So how do you choose between these stats that you have about the game and your feelings and the community's feelings?
It depends. I mean, first of all, how am I feeling on one particular day? Am I feeling like, am I in the mood for engaging with our community in a back and forth on why certain pets are the way they are? Or am I more like, okay, I know there's a problem, but I'm really not in the mood for having a long, overly long conversations or discussions about it. So that's one thing. It's just how is the designer feeling on any particular day. But then there are also things like some pets are not played that much, so we have less stats, and there can be several reasons for that. But maybe the people who do play it use it in a toxic way that makes everyone else feel bad, and that creates a lot of strong opinions that I do want to respond to, but it can be hard if the stats doesn't show me anything. I know, like, I could spend so much time talking about this one thing because it's like a big topic. I try to make it simple and say that we try to balance each how do you say, source of information. So there is my opinion, there is the community feedback, and there's the data. Ideally, all 3 opinions will line up. That's beautiful. That leads to an easy change. But if there is some conflict, it has to be judged on an individual basis. So if there's a question of one particular pet, maybe that would help push it'll help me say something more concrete.
I'm having trouble picking this team while I'm listening to you, so I kind of get stuck. But I think I should probably just what's it called? Just abandon hopes of making a good team while we're doing this. I'll make a good team when I'm playing the game, but probably not today. Let's see. Where was I? So I just bought a swan. I guess I'm getting to that point where I'm getting very invested in this swan. I'm feeling like, oh, maybe we can push it to level 3, and I don't know if that's a good idea, but
I mean, how about putting the peacock behind the elephant at least?
yes, absolutely. The elephant has an effect. After it attacks, it deals 1 damage to the nearest friend behind. And the nearest friend behind when the peacock is there is that the peacock then has an effect whenever it gets hurt. So it'll get like a little bit of damage all the time. So I don't have any food. I kind of wanted food to buff it, but I won't be able to afford that if I roll.
turtle should go in front of the swan or in front of the elephant, and then you could buy a meat bone for anything that needs more damage.
Which I suppose that could be our turtle, right up front, just a little bit of damage there.
I have to really contain myself, because I see so much opportunity in the team, and also just the stuff you can buy right now. But I also know, like, that can be very overwhelming for a new player to just be told, like, buy this stuff, order it like this, like
Well, if you can weave it into some kind of a game design choice, maybe that could be interesting. So if we don't have to do battle, right? We could also just have fun talking here in the shop. So I think that kind of goes back into the discussion of, you said you don't want to have a game where you get a lot of different turtles and all the different turtles go together. You wanted a game where every kind of pet can buff any kind of pet. So, and now you're saying you see a lot of opportunity in the shop. So now I'm wondering what that is. For example, here, the start of battle dolphin, that will just deal damage to the enemy. So I don't see that kind of going in tune with any of these. The ant, when it faints, it does something. So that's good. And that could also kind of go with the sleeping pill, which is something we can buy to just force a feint. We also have like the ox here, when the friend ahead faints, does something. I guess that could be combined with the pill as well. It doesn't really do anything with the ant effect, right? Because the ant effect, that will happen no matter what. The ox effect will happen no matter what. That, like, the friend in front of the ox will faint at some point. And again, start of battle mosquito. Don't see that. So actually, yeah, I don't see a lot. What did I miss?
So the big thing here is the turtle pill combo.
Okay, so the turtle, when it faints, it gives the melon perk to the nearest friend behind. And I guess I'm seeing now what you're saying. So normally inside a battle, when the turtle faints, it gives a melon perk. And the melon perk, it says it will block 20 damage once, which is basically ignoring a full attack. It's very rare that we get those attacks that have more than 20 damage. But it only happens inside the battle. And I guess what could happen if we use the pill is it actually becomes permanent, because everything in the shop is permanent.
Yes, you got it.
Oh my. Okay, we'll save the sleeping pill then. We'll freeze it so it's there next turn. And I don't think we'll freeze the ant. It's a tier 1 pet, and you said let's focus on the higher tiers.
It's sort of a secret. Well, not really a secret, but I just haven't told anyone. I'm sort of tinkering on... I said I didn't want to make another pack, which is half true. I am tinkering on like an experimental pack that's completely different from every other pack, and it wouldn't even be compatible with the other packs because the rules are fundamentally different. Like, it also changes a bit about how the game plays, but it's just something for me to have fun with. And one thing I sort of think the game currently doesn't necessarily need is, when you roll right now, you can still roll tier 1 and tier 2 pets, even though it's so rare that you ever want to buy a pet from a lower tier. So they're just kind of polluting most of the time they're polluting the shop. So to me, it feels like unnecessary game design. Like, I think it would be more elegant if all pets in the shop were useful.
Mm-hmm. But that's a pretty big change to the game, I suppose.
It would be, but I think it just makes more sense to not present the player with bad options. At least, like, almost always bad options. Like, I like the idea more that, you have, let's say the shop right now had 4 different tier 3 pets, and you sort of had to figure out, okay, which of these are the best for me? because right now, like if you play the game for a decent amount of time, you learn that right now the mosquito is just completely useless. Like you'll never buy a mosquito at this point unless you're doing some kind of weird sicko challenge run.
Okay. If you make that change, would that be like a pack? So you go into the menu and you choose a pack, and then it would only that game rule would exist in that pack, or would you implement it on the whole game?
No. I would never change it on the whole game. Like that is way too late now. Everything's sort of balanced around being more or less likely to pick up. Like all the tier 6 pets, if you could pick them up almost immediately, that would change the game so much, and nobody would be happy, including myself. Now you're delving deep.
I just wanted to see what was there, but it was way too overwhelming. I'll go back.
Please, too much info.
Yes. Well, at least for now. We're getting way too many questions here. We're getting so behind. And I was kind of expecting this because I saw a lot of interest in the stream from your community. Let's see. Oh, damn it. There we go. Tim is asking, was there a design you had to compromise because of the time, resources, complexity, the time it takes to teach it to players?
I mean, of course, the answer is almost always yes, but I will say probably compared to a lot of other games, I don't think I ever had to compromise on anything in particular. There are a few pet designs that I really liked and nobody else did, and then I rolled them back or removed them. Sometimes I even pushed them through anyway, just because I liked them, but otherwise, no.
And I'm wondering, are you a full-time developer on this game? The game has been out for 4 or 5 years, I think. Is this your main job?
I mean, currently I work more on another game, but it's also a game developed by our company. So I am a full-time developer or designer or game developer, whatever. I split it sort of half and half with Super Pets and this new untitled, unannounced game that I'm working on.
Ooh, okay, cool. Can you? It's unannounced, but can you say anything about it? About like maybe the game genre? Is it alike Super Autopets?
It gameplay-wise, it's not unlike. It's completely unlike Super Autopets.
Okay.
Thematically, it's I would say it's adjacent to Super Autopets. I think if you like the aesthetics of Super Autopets, you'll probably feel at home with the new one. Even though we're still in the process of defining the look and feel of it, so it could still change. But I don't think it'll move super far away from Super Autopets.
Okay. Okay. Let's try and make a good team this time, because now we have a lot of those opportunities, right? We could sleep our turtle, and if we do that, it will faint and it will give the melon perk. And we just unlocked tier 4 pets, so we could also get like a pet in between here and then faint the turtle, so we get the bonus for one of these. The bison has an effect if it has a level 3 friend, and we're not really close to getting a level 3 friend. We would need to find a swan, and now we're getting into that pollution problem you talked about. Even if I click roll, now my chances are getting pretty low of getting the swan, because there's just, now we have tier 1 to 4 pets showing up, right?
Yeah, that's why the chocolate exists on tier 5, is to sort of bring up your likeliness of getting a level 2 pet.
And when you're saying when you're saying chocolate, it's an item that gives 1 experience, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the swirl is quite kind of interesting because it kind of increases food or improves food, and I've seen that on a couple of different pets. So that's something else you could kind of synergize, get all kinds of pets that make food cheaper or make food stronger, and then you focus a little bit more on food maybe.
Yeah, you can sort of see how the swan currently does something similar as the squirrel. Just it's so much more flexible because the swan generates 2 gold worth that you can roll. You can buy pets, or you can buy food. Well, the squirrel is sort of locked into. First of all, you need to find the 2 food that you do want to buy, and then discount them. But it only generates gold value for the food. You couldn't use it to buy other pets, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think the ox is getting kind of bad now. It gets a melon perk, but it has so little attack, so it's not really worth a lot, I think. So I would sell that one. We could get the ox in hopes of getting chocolate later, so we can get a level 3, but maybe we should buy the squirrel, which doesn't really complement anything we really have right now. We'll definitely do the sleeping pill on the turtle. So maybe the question is, who should we give a melon? Could be nice on the elephant, because then the elephant gets 1 more round to buff the peacock. Could also be nice on the peacock. Although the melon perk is only the first attack. And I also saw, so that's also something you have to figure out, the teams that you're getting against, what are they? I think there's a lot of teams that has a very strong pet up front. So maybe it's nice to give it to the frontmost pet, which would end up being the elephant. Right, that's my thoughts. So now I'll carry it out.
It's good. Commit to your thoughts. Believe in yourself. Very important.
Yes. I'll wait with the bison, see if we get a chance to get the swan. What do we have here? A blowfish. When it is hurt, it deals 3 damage to 1 random enemy. Oh, that could also be very good here, right? The elephant deals 1 damage to our pet behind, which means we get a lot of times to just deal 3 damage to a random enemy. And I think that's even better than the peacock. It also is 3 damage, but it's only when the peacock gets to attack, and the peacock will also die, and could die quite quickly now. 6 health is not a lot at this stage.
I don't think the peacock is long for this world.
You think we should sell it soon?
I would not mind seeing it go, but yeah, it's there. I consider it the weakest at this point. Oh, that's a pair.
That's a pair?
That is a pair. You definitely need to freeze it so you get some value out of your squirrel.
Yes, we just bought a squirrel, which will make this one cheaper next round. So yeah, freeze it for next round. I guess we don't really need to freeze the sleeping pill anymore, because we don't have anything that really benefits from fainting. And the penguin, start of turn, it will give 2 level 2, and we have 1 that's level 2. Plus more attack and health. And that will actually make our swan stay relevant, because our swan then gets more stats, and it will stay relevant in addition to having its effect. So that sounds really good. I guess we sell the peacock as suggested.
I love this. Very good. Now
I feel like I'm having a coach here.
Now you need to use your awesome roll skills to find the elephant.
Yes. Hey!
Amazing. Good job.
There's some more food here. We'll freeze that for the squirrel. And I guess we just spend our last goal on rolling and see if we get something nice.
I would not bother with the bison.
Okay. No, we're not really close to having, I guess, a level 3 swan. So we could get something nicer.
The good players out there are probably thinking to themselves, even if you had a level 3, it wouldn't be worth it.
Oh, really?
Bison-
I had one nice run with the bison, and I thought, oh, this is really great.
I think the Bison is quite famously hasn't been good in a long time, which is why it's receiving a quite significant buff in the upcoming update.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay. There's an interesting one here. The whale. I think that's very different from many of the other pets, and it's also one that I haven't really fully understood the value of yet. So it says, at the start of the battle, it will swallow the nearest friend, and it will release it at level 1 on faint. So let's say it swallows the blowfish, then the blowfish is gone during the run until the whale faints. And then the blowfish is back at level 1, so meaning like if we had the swan, it would come back at level 1.
Yes.
I haven't seen anyone that kind of has an effect when they appear, unless
No.
it's the start of battle.
So here's another thing. I can tie it into some design stuff. The text on the whale isn't super great because one thing that's not clear is that it actually counts as the paint fainting when it gets swallowed. So it's a way you can duplicate a faint effect.
Oh.
Yeah. That's the immediate value you get on the whale. Is say you swallow a flamingo.
We don't have any fainters now, yeah.
But if you faint if it swallow a flamingo, the flamingo faint ability would go off and it would buff the whale and whatever is behind the whale. And then when the whale dies, it'll do it one more time. That's the immediate value that the whale gives. But you also can use it to transform. Let's say you get the mammoth, a tier 6 pet. You get it at level 1, but you got the whale to level 2. All right, great. Then you can make the mammoth level 2 immediately by making the whale swallow it in battle, and when it comes out, it's level 2. Boom, boom.
Okay, so there's a lot of combos to look for in that. I'll start the next one, and we'll say hello to Breadman, who also tuned in, and Fritz is asking, what is your favorite ability design?
That's a mean question. There are 600 pets. I have to pick my favorite child among 600.
Okay,
favorite.
really, how many are there when you just have the core game? So I saw that you can buy access to some pets, and you can unlock some pets, I think, just by playing the game. But this is an interesting team we're up against also. Sorry, I'm just interrupting myself here, but they're all level 2, so that could also make some really interesting combos. But it's actually pretty poor in terms of what you pointed out in the beginning, because the horse is a tier 1, cricket is a tier 1, dog is a tier 1, and ant is a tier 1. So they're almost all tier 1 pets. It'll be interesting if we win or lose this one then.
They did invest quite a lot of stats into the duck, so that might be an issue. We'll see.
Oh, and this is somebody else who chose the Western background, right? Because normally we have like whatever background we've chosen ourselves and whatever hats we have against whatever the other player has chosen.
Yep. You're a cowboy buddy. That's a good sign. I'm not sure if it will be enough. Get the
So what
horse.
we're seeing.
Oh, good job. You're so good at this game.
Well, I've always been lucky, so that's one of my main features.
Very important skill to have in this game, I think.
Also, anywhere else in life.
I think having some luck in your, like having a luck component in your game is important, just so everything doesn't become too deterministic.
Yeah.
That's some excitement.
Yeah, random stuff can add a lot of fun just from being like surprising and unexpected. But you also have stuff like chess, which has no luck in it, but just you could be lucky that your opponent overlooks something.
I suppose. I'm not a big fan of chess. for exactly that reason you just said. Like, it's to me, it's just too deterministic. It's too pure skill for me. I like a bit of randoms. I like something that, as you said, can surprise you.
Yeah. I don't know if we should take a question now or if we should figure out this. I guess let's figure out this, and then it can kind of go rolling a little bit. But there's a lot of stuff happening here now, right? We have the food on discount because of the squirrel. We have the whale that doesn't really add anything to us actually, because none of these are fainters. So maybe we shouldn't focus on the whale. We have the penguin, which we could use to upgrade the penguin we already have. Then there's a camel, which also has a herd effect. So right now we're using the elephant in the sense that every time it gets to attack, it will deal a damage to the blowfish, which has a herd effect, which can then trigger. But we could also do it with the camel, and then the camel would be buffing. So I'll follow your advice and look at the tier level and see that the blowfish is a tier level 4. So probably better than the camel overall. Oh, I think we should upgrade the elephant for sure. Did we have anything? The penguin? Yeah, give 2 level 2 or higher friends more stuff. So if we upgrade the elephant, now it's level 2, and then the penguin can also buff this elephant every turn. And then something new happened. We leveled up, so we got access to even more pets.
Oh. I mean, that's the perfect combo, those 2 pets. Unfortunately, you can only pick one of them.
Yeah, because they pop up when we level up, and then you can only choose one of them. I think it would be nice to give all pets more health, because we kind of benefit right now from every time we're taking damage, and we can take more damage if we have more health. But I'm not sure what I would replace here, because the elephant blowfish is kind of nice. The penguin is nice with the elephant and the swan. Maybe it's time to get rid of the squirrel then. Use the food and get rid of the squirrel. I made a choice.
You certainly did make a choice. I think I really like the armadillo. There's a lot of subtlety in its ability that's not immediately obvious, and I think you can do some really cool stuff with it. And I haven't seen anyone talk about it, so I like to choose that I found something unique. It's probably not true, but I like to think so.
Yeah. I'll buy the food since we have it on discount right now. Give 1 pet. Oh, just 1. Okay, which one are we gonna keep for the longest? It's either gonna be the swan because we've invested so much in it and it's getting pretty nice, or it's the armadillo because it's a level 5 already. I think we'll keep the swan probably also because the penguin. So I think we have a very nice kind of synergy at the moment. Above the swan, invest into the swan. Okay, there was also a question. Oh, and I think it's repeated now. So Ryan is getting impatient with us and asking, do you have any plans to add new monetization methods to the game now that we won't have any more full packs? Or will mini packs plus be the main means of monetization? So they have some information I don't hear. They're saying we won't have any more full packs. What does that mean?
You're playing a full pack right now. Like Turtle Pack is what they call a full pack. And historically that has been our main source of income. You know, Puppy Pack, Star Pack, and those full packs. The mini pack is something you can buy that will expand your options when building your own pack. But you cannot play a mini pack on its own. Like, it's just, usually it's about 10 new pets.
And have you made some decision that you won't make any more full packs?
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier. That like nobody's working on a full pack right now, besides the one experimental pack that I was teasing. But it's not a sure thing that anything will ever come of it.
Mhm.
So to answer his question, or their question,
Yeah,
Yes,
which
it-
was
it-
really, do you have plans to add new monetization methods instead then?
I mean, the most direct answer is no. There's no plan. We're doing all right for ourselves right now. Like all right, as in baseline, doing okay, staying afloat as it was. Nothing like we haven't really talked about anything, so that's the quick answer. And yeah, I do want to. I am working on a mini pack right now, but mini packs don't really earn that much money compared to the big pack. So I mean, I'm not really making it because I think that it'll make any big difference for the company financially. But I'm just doing it because I think it'll make the game better.
It's always nice if you have the opportunity to just work from the standpoint of making a good game. I think game development is... someone is asking if messages can be seen on YouTube, and yes, they can. I think game development is always a question of kind of sacrificing, like, or compromising. You want to do something for your game, but you also have to make money off of it. So I think a lot of players kind of hate when there's in-game purchases or the ads, but like that's a choice. If you make a free-to-play game, maybe you need to have ads in there. And there was also a question about this actually on Reddit before the stream. Somebody asked, from a financial point of view, how have you felt going free-to-play? Has that been worth it? And pricing the packs versus other monetization models. So I don't know, is this your first game? Have you made another game that wasn't free to play, or do you have any experience with this? Or?
I come from a Newgrounds background, meaning that I made the Flash games, which were all like free to play in some sense. I made several games, and I just have to think. The two biggest successes was this one and another game called Versus Umbra, and they're very similar in having like a free. Versus Umbra had like a free campaign, and then two other paid campaigns, and this one has like the free pack or two free packs, and the build your own pack stuff, which also is partially free, and then you pay for like the other stuff. I think free to play is quite good. Like you can sort of see the turtle pack as a demo. Like people can play the turtle pack and decide for themselves, am I into this game or not? And if they are into the game, they're probably more willing to like spend $10 on expanding their experience. I think the important thing is just you as a developer don't go down the pay to win route, which I know a lot of companies do and have a lot of success with, but that's just not for me. I think the way we did it was really, really good, where we wanted it to be more like pay to play differently. So you're not at a disadvantage if you're not paying anything. That's no longer real. It's not always true, because if you're playing custom packs, you are definitely at a disadvantage if you have a smaller collection.
So what are these custom packs? Is that everybody kind of chooses their own pack and play against other packs? Because right now I think we're playing the turtle pack against turtle packs, right?
Yeah. Now custom packs, you pick what pets are even in your pack. So right now, like when you pay turtle pack, you always have the same packs available in the shop. I mean, you can always roll into the same pets in the shop, but with custom pack, you can choose what pets you have the chance of rolling into. And that means that if you bought more packs, then you have a greater selection. And some pets from, let's say, the turtle pack go really well with something from danger pack. So if you only have turtle pack, you're at a disadvantage. But I think that's just that was a sacrifice we were okay making, saying that okay, custom packs, that's only for the most hardcore, the people who probably already own all the packs, and that was the target audience. And that was just the design decision we had to make. I mean, maybe there are solutions, but that was the decision we went with. But if you play Versus, which is like, it's sort of like this you're playing now, except it's real time and you're playing against one other person or 7 other people, and you sort of cycle between which one you're fighting through. Like right now, you're playing arena mode, where it's completely random who you go up against. But in Versus, you're playing against one other opponent, and you're just trying to reduce the other player to 0 life. But this was the point, that you can choose to only play against your own pack. So you're not at a disadvantage if you didn't buy any of the paid packs.
I do like what you said about having the game being pay to win versus pay to play in a different way. And I think many players, they hate pay to win, even though it's a successful model. As you said, there are many big companies who do pay to win, and they are very successful from it. But at the same time, players play it and players hate it. But pay to have different options, that's sort of like just paying for an expansion or paying for a new game, right? Yeah, I like that.
I mean, we say we hate it, but I think that's more Western world mentality. I know plenty of. I don't know if it's China or South Korea. I'm fairly certain it's China. Like they have a completely different mindset when it comes to pay to win. So it's not a universal fact that all players hate it. But I will say that I hate it. I hate pay to win. So
that's quite interesting if you've experienced that with different player groups around the world.
It's just different, like different cultures, different mindsets. So you have to decide like who you're making the game for. And we made this game for us. Like this is a love letter from us to ourselves. And we were very lucky that the rest of the world like also felt like, oh, there's some love for us as well. It just happened to be, what we like is also what other people like.
Because that's not always the case. I followed another game called Cyber Rats, which I think is a great game. I had a lot of fun with the game, and the developer thought it was a great game. They made it for themselves, and it did okay, but it just didn't do super well. And then it was quite interesting to hear them analyze after the fact that it was a mistake making it for themselves. Purely for themselves, because you should make a game that you're excited about yourself, otherwise you won't really be able to feel it. But they kind of lost, they didn't have enough focus on if it was a game that would be played or picked up by others. And it's very lucky or very nice if you get to work on a game that's purely for yourself and also popular amongst players. But yeah.
I mean, it is a lie that we made it only for ourselves, because if we truly made this game only for ourselves, then it wouldn't have a tutorial, because we wouldn't need to learn it. Like, we already know the rules. The tutorial is there for other people. And there are certain phrases which are also like, we didn't really need to change or write in this specific way. We wrote it because we felt this is more accessible to people. So I think when I say we made this for ourselves, what I really just mean is, this is the kind of game we want to play. And so we made that, but then we also made a lot of considerations to make a game that other people could enjoy. And a lot of that is really just accessibility. Like, one thing we do very consistently is keep the text very short, like the abilities, keep them short, because people only have so much attention span to read. So even if some of the abilities are slightly inaccurate in the description, I think it's more important that people are actually willing to read any of it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a very consumable game in that sense. It's like very bit by bit. You don't really get overwhelmed. Like, for example, at this stage of the game, it shows me very clearly. Oh, this is what's happening. Then I press play. Then it shows me. Okay, this is what's happening. And I think that's how it is straight from the get-go. And you also at the beginning you only have 3 pets to choose from. Then as you progress, the shop gets bigger. So yeah. It's very very bit by bit, which I think is really nice.
And all the things you just mentioned, that's not coincidence. Like, we intentionally wanted the game to be as simple as possible when you open it the first time. And the challenge was trying to make a game that's fun to play many times, but also has a minimal amount of information when you first open it. So having no pets, just having a small shop, but not too small. It had to be small enough that you are willing to read it, and 3 is such a magical number. That's where we started. And just make sure that the starting abilities, like all the tier 1 pets in Turtle Pack, are super duper simple. Like, nothing goes beyond 2 lines of text.
Yeah.
And we don't tell. The reason,
like something like this one, right? The whale, that would be too much on a level 1, of course.
Yeah, it would be. Just something simple like, oh, this gives heart, oh, this gives fist, and people generally understand. Like, I think people understand, like, if something has more attack, okay, then it probably deals more damage. Like, we work on those like very base assumptions and people's understanding of how the world works.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even tell people what's the purpose of the game when you start. Like, we just only present you with one thing you can do, which is to buy pet, and that's generally the right choice. Like, we don't give them. Technically, you could roll. Sorry, but we do have the prompt telling people, like, you should buy these pets. People buy the pets, they end their turn, and then if they win or lose, they see like that screen where the trophies, you get trophies or you lose life. I think people generally understand that, oh, losing your heart, bad. Oh, getting a trophy, good. So the game,
yes,
using visual language, tells you what is the right thing to do. And do it, as you said, piecemeal, one by one. But I think, like, even then, like, it can still be improved. Like, the introduction could be improved. And these are the lessons that I take with me into the next game, rather than trying to fix them in this game, because the player base has already been so established and there is resources left and right for learning how to play. So I think, and also my interest in, let's say, in the game is not as strong as it was 4 years ago.
Which is also natural, I think. But
yeah,
you've had a successful game for a long time, and I think you have 36,000 members on your Discord, and I see both on Reddit and on Discord a lot has been happening. Like this week, I've only known about the game for a week, so but I mean there's more to follow than I could for a week. So definitely a very popular game. I actually met someone during this week and said I was gonna stream this game, and I stream a different game each week, and it's always a game made in Denmark. And then they were like, "Oh, Super Auto Pets is Danish," and like they knew Super Auto Pets, but they had no idea. And even though they're in the game industry in Denmark,
I've seen people like forward me images from the real world. People going to concerts, not paying attention to the band, but just playing Super Auto Pets. And that warms my heart.
Yeah, that's also Super Auto Pets is a mobile game as well, right? You can play it on. So I'm playing it on Steam, and you can play it on your phone. I don't know. Can you play it anywhere else?
In the browser, if you really want. But otherwise, yeah, it's on your computer, on Linux, on Mac, on Windows, on iPhone, Android, and the browser. we have no plans to expand into consoles. It's just too much work, and it's probably not worth it because everyone has a phone.
Yeah. We still have a bunch of questions we haven't really reached, so I'll take one more. It's also from Tim. Do you have a design philosophy you keep coming back to or compare to? Personally, Tim usually thinks of creating the toys before the game. For example, I make the football and see if it's fun to play with before I create the goals. Yeah, do you have design philosophy behind this? I guess we talked a little bit about some of them already, right?
I need to go in 1 minute.
Yes.
But I'll just take 10 seconds to think about it.
Yeah, that's true. We've already been running for over an hour, and you all actually said you only had 1 hour. So I'm sorry if you probably have a meeting in 2 minutes.
I do.
I want to just spend the last minute then to say thank you for being here, and obviously people are very interested in hearing from you. So it's been very nice that you are here. That the video will also be available afterwards, so maybe someone else can tune in and have fun listening to you talk about your game.
You know what, Tim? I won't answer you now, but I promise I'll do my own stream at some point soonish, and then you can ask the question again, and then maybe I'll have an answer for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, and have a nice work day, have a nice meeting.
Thank you for inviting me. It was fun. And It's nice to see someone else play Suborbitz, like someone who's new. I rarely get the chance to do that.
Oh yeah, I guess by now most players already know it very well.
Yeah, at least the people I'm in daily communication with. Yeah. All right, thank you. Take care. Also, everyone out on the Twitch world.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.
So I wonder if I will continue the stream. We obviously have a lot to talk about still. There's a lot we haven't seen from the game. I think we didn't even manage to finish one run here. But I think it was very nice to just kind of stop throughout and just talk about the game at different points. Thank you also for tuning in, and thank you for your questions, Ryan, Tim. I stream a different game each week, and I stream it with the developers of the game to just try and reach like one level deeper into the games instead of just me talking about the game. Let me just pull up the schedule, because just before I started this stream, I got the next week's games ready. So one of the developers, one of the artists from What's Up, will be happy to talk about their game. Tim, it's you. So I was wondering if it might be you. So Tim is one of the developers of What's Up. Tim is not going to be the one talking next week. It's going to be one of the other developers. So it's going to be the artist. So maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the art than about the gameplay design. But I think the team behind What's Up is also fairly small. It's a game in development. So they have a demo on Steam, but the game is not released yet. So we'll be playing the demo, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about what's to come before the game is finished. In 2 weeks, I might be doing Soko Ghost, which is a... Tim is saying we're 6 people, just launched the demo, full game out in May. So that's the team behind What's Up. I forgot what your company is called, Tim. But I guess you've launched that demo just here for the Steam Next Fest, which is happening now. And then people can go play that demo and kind of give a little bit of feedback and maybe influence what the game is going to be about in the end. Well, that's not gonna what it's going to be about. Let me just read from the Steam page here. What's up? So it's a 3D game where you diving in a submarine. It says work together as a pirate crew and plunder coffee across the oceans. Hold your trusty, rusty submarine together, dodge disasters, fight dangers, and finally get back the black gold. Play this co-op action game with up to 4 players and try become the mightiest pirates of the underseas. It's made by Chaos Games, based in Viborg. Yeah, and in 2 weeks I'll do maybe a game called Soko Ghost, and the all other 4 games I have listed here, Anglerfish, Bubbles, One Button Buses, and Battle Monsters, are all games where I've talked with the developers and they wanna stream their games, but we just have to figure out a date, find a day in the calendar that works. Soko Ghost is a more like puzzle game. It's a 2D puzzler where you push boxes around. I think I won't introduce the other games. I'll do that later when we know that that we're gonna stream those. And I think that's maybe all for today. I mean, I could continue playing Super Autopets. It's very fun, but I think the people are mainly here for the developers to listen to those. Yeah, One Button Buses is a really interesting, crazy design constraint. I don't know if I can I bring her up if I change to Steam? Let me see here, Steam. And then remove the schedule. So One Button Buses, I'll just show off what that looks like. One Button Buses. There we go. So it's a game where you only have one button. And that one button is then gonna change maybe your direction. Yeah, so you see that here on the trailer. So you have this. You're the small piece that kind of goes around on a circle maybe, and then when you press, you change your direction to dodge. And then, I mean, I don't know what to say about this game. I haven't tried it yet, but it certainly looks interesting, and it looks like a very kind of fast-paced kind of game. I think they have a bunch of levels you go through. Maybe it's like 50 levels or something where you then meet different bosses. Yeah, you see that kind of here a little bit on the map. Yeah, but we'll look at that if I get to stream that game. So they said they might want to. Yeah, you're saying the game is played with only one button, and I think so I'm gonna play it on Steam just because that's I'm most comfortable with a PC, and it's also easy to stream from. But I think that game is also on a phone. At least it would make time. It would make sense on a phone. So I hope it is. Rune, if you have time, how's your view on the Danish game industry right now in terms of the games that are in development? There are so many. So I go to a lot of different events for game development. Because I'm in game development myself, because I'm interested in games, and I just think it's kind of fun to follow what's going on, which is also in part why I made this stream. So making this stream is super fun for me because I get to learn a bunch of new games, and I just kind of set aside a day a week to do this. It's purely a hobby for me, really, because I'm not making any money on doing this stream, so I'm really just doing it out of interest, I think. how is my view on the games in development? There are so many. So we have the Game Institute, which funds games in development, or has a certain amount of money each year that they can give out. You can apply for. They received more than 100 applications this year. So there are more than 100 small teams that are looking for funding. And aside from that, we have, I think it's just around 200 game companies. If you include all these smaller ones, there are many game companies that are just like 2 or 3 people. Of course, we have maybe 10 or 20 bigger game companies. So we have the 4 really big ones that are IOI, which made Hitman, and then Tactile, Cybo, and Movie Star Planet, which makes mobile games. Those 4 companies have more than 100 employees. Then we have a handful, I think it's around 10 or 20 companies that have somewhere between, somewhere over 20 employees. And then we have like 100 companies that are somewhere between 2 and 10 employees. And yeah, I mean, I have time for questions. I just usually end the stream at this point because the developer is not there. And I also see that most viewers have tuned out by now. I'm really excited for what's up. It'll be fun. I wonder if we should, since it's a multiplayer game, we could play it together, or I could play it and you could talk about it. Well, you're not the one who's going to be there. It's going to be, I don't know if I'm allowed to say his real name or if I should use his Discord handle, but Bloom, Coom, something. Sorry, I forgot the name. It is. Oh, and Discord. So when you're streaming, Discord has a kind of built-in safety that makes sure that you won't spoil people's names. So I can actually not see their name right now. I can only see that it starts with a B. That's fair. When so Tim is saying that's fair. Then we might meet next week. I might have time to join or play along. Could be really cool. So actually, next week I will be streaming from a new office. So far, I've been streaming from my living room, but now I got to borrow or lend an office at Games Denmark. So Games Denmark is an organization of Danish game companies that tries to support the Danish game industry. And I talked with them, and they asked if I wanted to borrow their office for streaming. So I was there last week and set up everything. I just didn't get the key, so I couldn't stream from there this week because they usually open at 9 and I would need to be there before 9 because I start the stream at 9. And that's actually going to be really cool as well, because that would give me an opportunity to invite people in. So for example, if it's a co-op game, a couch co-op, not an online co-op, that would make perfect sense to do from to have people in there. There's also a bunch of other things that'll be really cool. So it'll make it possible to stream physical games like board games, and one of the ones that's on screen right now is called Battle Monsters. So that's a miniatures game. So also a physical one, right? It's one of those where you buy miniatures and you paint the miniatures, and you use those miniatures in the game. So it's kind of like a hobby, painting combined with being a game. Yeah, otherwise, cool to see you here, Tim. I hope you like the setup, because this is what you've agreed to for next week. So I hope that'll be good for showing off your game. There we go. I think I'll end the stream now. Because I've run out of stuff to say. Well, I have a bunch of things to say about Super Auto Pets, but I think you can also go check out the game for yourself if you're interested in it, because it's free to play. It's a small game, it downloads quick, and a match. So I've been taking now over an hour to play one match, but you could play a match in a couple of minutes, especially if you put it on auto battler mode instead of pausing between each attack. Okay, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for tuning in. Talk to you, Tim, later, and excited to try your game next week.